hate to break the fishing news after Remchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome into episode 266 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, Chalmers, Jay, Bagmilk. They're all here. And the podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle, 14 locations in Edmonton. Jay, do we have an ETA on Calgary location?
Oh, it's tough to say. We're just, the ink, I think, is just drying on the two locations we tied up. So now we're in the franchisee process where we have to disclose our franchisees and start the paperwork for all that. So, I'm just, it's going to be a blanketed term. I'm just going to say it. Summer of 2021.
Okay. I like that. I like that timeline. Check out Oodle Noodle if you're in Edmonton, though, at one of their many locations. Proceeds from all in-store and curbside pickup goes towards local charities, and or you can find them on your favorite food delivery app. I think we're a Skip the Dishes family here, but check out Oodle Noodle. Those Edmonton Oilers, they are hot, and I want to start this podcast with one very simple question, and we'll go around the horn. I'll even start with you, Chalmers, because it looks like you're ready to go. Is this the best the Oilers have played all season?
The best they've played all season, I have to say, absolutely. Yeah, I believe it's the best they've played all season. At the very beginning of the season, we talked about them going on runs, and I feel like they're on a little bit of a mini run here. And they've cut down on mistakes. Goaltending's playing great. JR has no reason to tweet about how bad our goaltending's been lately. So that helps. I'm sure that helps with your followers, JR?
Hey, well, if I'm shitting on goaltending, then everyone's shitting on it with me. It's where we ride the roller coaster.
I think that the best way to figure out whether or not the Oilers are playing the best hockey they've had is feels like Bag Milk's beat casts are constantly him drinking beer, and that's something that it just goes without saying that equates to good hockey.
So it's pretty amazing to think about it because you're right, Chalmers. I've been drinking a lot of delicious Nation beers lately on the B-cast. Makes me happy. Everybody's in a good mood. Like Saturdays was a lot of fun. Everybody was in a great mood on Saturday after that win. But it's pretty interesting to see that starting the season 3-6, and then they've turned it around to what? 18-7 or whatever the math works out to.
They're 21-13-0.
That's bananas. That is a hell of a run. So, yeah, I would say, Tyler, they're playing the best hockey of the season by far. I would even say they're playing the best hockey they have in a couple of years now.
Jay?
I would have to agree. So let's just put some perspective on this. We started 3-6, and everyone was losing their shit because we were way better on paper than what we were seeing with our eyes. And ever since that, we've been, you could say we've been on a pretty consistent heater with just that one little lapse against Toronto, who, all the moons aligned and they just played their best hockey for those 3 games and have been shit ever since. But here's the thing. Winnipeg came to town. Winnipeg has found their game. Winnipeg is a very good hockey team. And as you could tell by the 2 games we played, that they are a good hockey, but they play heavy hockey. They play playoff hockey. And we were able to show up. We were able to reciprocate and compete and win 2 huge hockey games off of a very good hockey team. And to me, that was the telltale sign. The fact that we were able to go down 2-0 against the Jets, who've been playing really good hockey, and piece together a 4-2 victory just shows me that this team is gelling, and this team is now exactly what we thought they were. This team is now very strong defensively. Darnell Nurse is now, if you listen to John Scott's podcast, he thinks he's a legit Norris candidate. Like, these are all things we've haven't been able to say for eons. Yeah. And this is all now happening, and we're now seeing the byproduct of all of this effort, and people taking the steps at the right time and starting to do the right things and actually having a very, very good cohesive dressing room.
To add to that, the power play and the penalty kill have both been fantastic recently. And like, you just watch it, it's next level power play and penalty kill, something we have not seen in a long time. So that is a huge positive for me going forward. Like, you need those two units clicking, and more so the penalty kill has been like, you don't have your best players out there. So to see them doing what they're doing is just like, it's really, it gives you a lot of confidence going forward, I think.
The penalty kill you touched on there, it needs to be more consistent for me. It's still like bottom third in the NHL. So it has its stretches where it's great, then it'll just completely fall apart for a few games. So if they can keep it going, you're right. And another one on Saturday, I mentioned it on my pregame podcast today, but this kind of got buried. Mike Smith made some huge saves at some huge points. He turns 39 years old today. And as Dave Tippett said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He said, Schmitty is 39, but he does not have the body of a 39-year-old. That's what Dave Tippett said
rock hard.
At his press conference after the game. He called Mike
David
Smith
Tippett, a hard body guy.
Yeah, hard body guy. Mike Smith was great too. He made that save like late in the second period with like no time on the clock. If that goes in, the Oilers probably, I'd say, don't come back in that hockey game.
The one, is this the pull to the backhand? He's going the opposite way, but gets his leg out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge save. His interview afterwards too was pretty funny because, Gene or whoever was interviewing him brought up, you made some highlight reel saves. And his answer to that was, well, if I'm making highlight reel saves, it most likely means because I'm out of position. And so he wasn't taking that as in like, I had a great night. He's seeing room to get like better and be better at positioning. So that makes me happy. I'm glad to see him doing well.
We were talking about it on the Bcast after the win, how Mike Smith, first of all, played great, looked great, but man, he was also an adventure in there, wasn't he? When he got caught behind the net, diving Supermaning in to catch it. Like, those were the saves he probably shouldn't but did make. And he was a lot of fun to watch, but man, he's a roller coaster in there. Mike Smith,
he's entertaining.
Take it away. And you know what I also like about Mike Smith? I also love after the final buzzer goes and you see the two-handed fist pump, and he is the most fired up guy on the ice whenever the Oilers win. And I love it. I got to say, I love it. I did not have any faith in Mike Smith this year, and I'm happy to be wrong so far at this point. And I will apologize to him on his 400th birthday. I'm sorry for what I said about you a few months ago.
You think that giveaway on that diving save was the reason why with about a minute left in the open net, he got the puck behind his net and he decided to rim it around the boards as opposed to maybe going for goal number 2?
I thought that when he picked up that puck, I'm like, is he going to go for it? I was like, no, Schmitty's playing it safe tonight.
And then he smartly puts it around the boards. I think he had flashes of that save in his head.
Yeah. It's a fun time right now.
Look how closely I watch. Hey, a lot of Kelly Rudy fun coming at me over the weekend.
I loved that. I loved it. Anytime he would pop up on CC7 it.
Oh, they were just killing me. I had a good kick out of it too, but man, yeah, that was a stupid bonehead thing to say by me. But hey.
We've all done it on this podcast, Chalmers. This run for the Oilers, though, they're now 7-3-0 in their last 10. This is the kind of run that gets you wondering a little bit what they're going to be capable of come April, right? Like, this is a team, they've proven they can beat the Jets. They haven't proven they can beat the Leafs consistently, at least. Yes. And that could come on this road trip. But like, it's starting to make me believe a lot more that this team might be like more than capable of just winning one playoff round. Like, this could be a team that's good enough to go on a run this year.
So you know what I'll need to see to think that is, we've talked about these mini runs. We're in one now. When you're playing your best hockey is when you need to find a way to not become complacent and step it up a little bit more. Start to figure out the minor things while keeping consistent the things that you're doing right already. They take it to the next level in the next 5 games. Like, that's when if we continue this run, that's like a growing team. That's a team that can make a run, in my opinion. I think that it's like right now is kind of a turning point. We're more than halfway through the season, and you can't. I'm sure there'll be one more lull in the schedule at some point, but like, prove it to us now. And I think that we'll all kind of live with that little lull when it comes, and then fire it back up right for the end of the season. Like,
Well, you don't want to peak too soon, Chalmers. Just like you're saying, you don't want to peak too soon.
That's just it. That's why you show me, like, don't lose the next 3 of 5. Don't go 2-2 in the next 4. Show us a 3-2, a 4-1, and I think the next lull will be a lot easier to swallow for Oilers fans. I think the impressive thing for me for the Oilers, especially this past week, is they had 3 different wins. The blowout against Calgary was obviously a lot of fun. First win against Winnipeg was like a defensive lockdown type, grinding Dave Tippett plays the trap in Arizona kind of game. And then the third one was a comeback from 2-0 down. And it's just, they're finding different ways to win games, which I find very impressive. Something that didn't necessarily come in the earlier part of the season when they went on similar type runs, at least in my opinion.
Well, that's a telltale sign that, like, the team is, it's coming. Like these guys have confidence. Like, if it's going to be a defensive trap game, they feel confident they can compete and still pull off victories at that. Like, we've got shots in the bag now, and it's because they've been working on all those details, and now it's all starting to kind of show itself. And that just that's what you need in playoff hockey. Like, we're not going to get our confidence rattled too easily now, like, because we've proven if it's going to be a tight scoring game, well, okay, try and score on us then. Yeah. And we'll score on the one chance we might get. And it's just different. And yeah, like, this isn't sustainable. We're not going to just be going pure heater mode, nor do we want to. You want a little adversity. It's good that we're showing that we can play all these different types of games when needed to pull off a W. But, facing a little adversity between now and the end of the season is probably a good thing, because it allows us to kind of revisit all these things to get us finally, tuned up so we could go on a deep playoff run. But we're showing some amazing signs right now. And that's what's so weird for us, because we have not seen this. Even in 16-17, we didn't really see this. It's just, Connor McDavid, new arena, excitement. And, we kind of went on a run and it was exciting. And the next year was basically the exact same team and we sucked. Yeah. But like, this to me is completely different, and it is fucking exciting. It's a bit surreal because it's been a long 15 years. But I'm fucking here for it, and I'm over the moon excited.
I think that's a good point too. Like, in that 2017 run, like, they had guys like Slepyshev playing big roles, like, not like, exciting young prospects. Like, Maroon was playing good, but he was a veteran having a career year. Lucic had a good year as well, and we all know how that went. You look at this team now, like, Puljujarvi and Yamamoto are playing key roles. They should really only get better from here on out. They got a whole bunch of young blue liners. They have good prospects in the system that I don't think they really had back in 2017, or at least they didn't have prospects that were this close to jumping in and contributing. I believe they drafted Yamamoto that year after the playoff run. So I think this is the start of, like Ken Holland said when he was hired, a perennial contender. He didn't want to come in here and build a team that's going to go on one run and then just, that's it. They're going to go all in for 1 or 2 years, then pay the price. He's building a team that I think for the next 5 or 6 years, and maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid too much right now, but I think this is a group and a core, and they have the prospects for the next half a decade. They can really be making strong pushes at this thing.
100%.
You bringing up Puljujarvi just it reminds me that after watching the game, I mean, he's got to win my award for the best unexpected surprise this year. Like, just his game is just like, he's playing so well. Like, it's so good to see. We needed that. I didn't expect that coming into the season, but it's fantastic. And that's the type of things in winning hockey clubs. You need to have a few of those surprises. You know what I mean? Maybe the Darnell Nurse offensive output could be a close
Mike Smith
second.
As well.
The Tyson Barrie, exactly. Tyson Barrie's offensive output, his strong defensive game, and then Mike Smith, those are 4 candidates, but I definitely think Puljujarvi's in the lead for that award for me right now.
Can I just, if I'm going to nitpick right now what's going on with the Oilers?
Please do. This has been way too positive.
I'll tell you one thing that needs to happen is I think Oilers fans need to chill a little bit and just enjoy what's going on.
Yes.
Oh, weird. For the 27th year in a row, they need to chill out for a little bit.
Well, it's not 20 to that point. It's not 20. It's remember where we've come from. And there's some habits we got to work out of our system because we're not used to this, because it's been normally a tire fire after tire fire season. So it's tough to, finally have good things and know what to do with them. So we're just remember our past. So yes,
Right.
We need to sit back and we and more so to that point, that's what should allow you to really enjoy what's happening right now. But it's also just so deeply ingrained with us. So we gotta just keep sweating that out as the wins keep piling up.
We got to learn how to enjoy it. Cause I find even when I'm writing the wrap ups or whatever, we're not taking a minute to smell the flowers on what's going on right now. Tyler has said it a million times with a guy like McDavid specifically. Watch it, enjoy it, because he's a freak. This isn't normal. I was putting the GDB together today. Gregor couldn't do it. He had something to do. I was putting it together, and as I saw, Tyson Barrie would be leading the Habs in points by a fair chunk, which is and then that doesn't even include Connor and Leon running away with the whole thing. So I just think that we need to just take a minute, look at everything that's going around. Yeah, contract talk. Yeah, this, yeah, that. But man, let's enjoy this. This is a good time. This is a good period of Oilers hockey to watch. And yeah, it's going to be frustrating. Yeah, there's going to be losses. All that shit's going to happen. But right now, they are rolling, and it is fun. It is real fun. I don't know how many times we would throw events at the Pint or something, and it's fucking Halloween and they're already out. This isn't the case.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wish we could throw events right now.
Something you guys said just triggered a memory of mine, and that is I went 2 or 3 podcasts in a row where I railed against the NHL for their storytelling, growing the game and all this. And we have regretfully not brought up the fact that they signed a long-term deal with ESPN to view their hockey rights. And that, in my opinion, is probably the biggest step in the right direction that the NHL as a league has made in a long time. I'm hearing, I listen to a lot, and I deal with I look into and listen to a lot of media outside of Canada. And there's more hockey talk right now about their deal with ESPN, and they always say you have to highlight guys like Matthews, like McDavid, these guys. And in my opinion, if I'm going to rail against them so hard for their storytelling, I have to be there to praise them when they do something like this, because things matter when they're on ESPN. It's just hockey matters when it's on ESPN. Yeah. When they stopped being on ESPN 8-9 years ago,
it was longer than that.
It stopped. Yeah, longer than that. I don't even remember when it was, but it stopped being the Big Four, right?
Yep.
And there was a certain point where they were probably talking about MLS soccer more than they were talking about hockey.
Yep.
So to have this is just and to especially have McDavid and Draisaitl on our team, a team from Edmonton, a team that potentially in the circles of ESPN and bigger media is going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, that's exciting. And I'm really hoping that this does what I think it can do for this sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you're banging on with that. That deal that got signed, it's getting talked about a fair amount, but in some circles that it's not getting talked about how big that is for the growth of the game. SportsCenter is still huge in the States. And if you go down there and you watch SportsCenter, they don't really bring up hockey. And if they do, it's the quick little 30 seconds on this because something historic happened and that's it, right? Now ESPN has a vested interest in showing hockey highlights. Now, if SportsCenter starts at 10 o'clock Eastern, you know what's coming up before it once a week? The game of the week on the NHL that's going to be on ESPN. And that could be Connor McDavid going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning or Connor McDavid at Madison Square Garden. It could legitimately involve the Oilers a lot too. It's a really exciting time with that deal being signed. I'm excited to see what part 2 of their TV deal in the States looks like as well, because I think that could be really good monetary wise and getting the cap back up and going as well. But I like that you brought that up, Charles.
It makes teams like Florida also, what they're doing this year, it makes them a talking point, and it's going to help out American clubs like that. Yep. Because on these media outlets that I consume, even Florida's getting more talk because they know, ESPN's about to have a hand in this. We need to start talking about this shit. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be great for that. Cause Florida, man, I didn't know that they were as good as they are right now. And ever since that deal got signed, I'm hearing more about Florida Panthers hockey. And it's just on a whole, that's just huge for the thing that we all love the most,
Yeah. You're bang on with that. All right. A couple of things I want to get off my checklist here before we move on. We're going to play a little Would You Rather. We got some questions on Twitter. I got a couple I want to throw at you guys as well. But I saw this on Instagram and I want to pass it along. Nation Network and Ringo Trivia is doing a trivia night tomorrow. I'm just reading about this. This is interesting. $40 plus tax gets you access to the Rip Roaring Trivia game plus a code for a kick-ass beers and delivery. So you pay the $40 plus tax and you get a 4-pack of Nation beer, I believe, delivered to you, which is a ton of fun as well. Not during that night, but I think you get a code to go on and order some as well. But it's happening tomorrow. So that's Tuesday, March 23rd. With your ticket, it also comes with a $5 donation that's going to be made to Sports Central. So if you want more information, go on Instagram at Ringo Trivia, or I'm sure the Oilers Nation account will be sharing some on that as well, right?
You bet.
There you go. All right. And the other thing too, we got to give some love to our friends at twigandberries.ca. Do the trivia night and then also hit up Twig and Berries. Look good while you're doing it. No judgment, no shaming, no fancy words, just real men. twigandberries.ca. Use the promo code NATION15. It gets you 15% off. Maybe you want a pair of their very own nutsack underwear. All right. You guys want to get to my Would You Rather questions here? They're going to start off simple. All right. Chalmers, you touched on this one a little bit. This 5-game road trip for the Oilers. Dustin Nielsen brought up this question initially this morning, so I'll give credit to him, but I think it's a fascinating look at the road trip. Would you rather go 3-2, but it's 3 wins against the Habs and 2 losses to the Leafs, or go 2-3, but it's 2 wins against the Leafs and 3 losses to the Habs? Chalmers, which one would you pick?
I feel like at the end of the season, no matter what happens, we're going to be looking up at Toronto. So I'd rather take 3 wins against the Habs, 2 losses against the Leafs.
I would too. I would bank the points. Jay, what would you do?
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Really?
Toronto.
Why don't you want to bank the points?
He wants, because I can tell you why. He wants, guaranteed, JR, that you want to know that we can beat Toronto so that when we meet him in the conference final, we know we can beat him.
Well, yeah, it's good for the team to get some wins up against Toronto and kind of, calm down that world. But the team's been hot lately. So if they're going to go on a slide right now, sure, I can live with it. And then to come out of it by beating Toronto twice in a row, like that's the most reassuring thing you could see as a fan. So I trust me, I'm not cheering for it at all, but this is would you rather. So that's my logic. 2 and 3, sweep the Leafs at all costs. Let's go.
Bag milk?
Easy. You take the points. I don't give a fuck about regular season.
Yeah, you numbers guys.
Bag milk. Did you get into your cups last night? You're very on point, but very nonchalant while doing it.
You know what? I'm actually I'm just trying to catch up to you right now, Chalmers. I'm looking at some bets for risky business today, going up at 4:00 because you're on a roll right now. Speaking of fucking winning streaks, Chalmers has hit 2 score predictions in a row.
And I've only made 3. So for all those haters out there, they're going to say, oh, you probably made all these bets. I've made 3 exact score bets. The first one, 2-0 after the first period. The second one I made was the 4-2 prediction, the score against the Jets. And in that exact same game, I made a prediction of 5-3. And so when it was 3-2 and we scored that open netter, the worst thing, I put my hands in my face like, no, not so quick. Because a minute left, I knew they were going to pull the goalie again. And I was like, I'm going to get 30 seconds of just, but honestly, I told my wife about the bet, right as we scored the open net. And at the end of the game, when we both sat there, and for once, she was just on pins and needles. It took it to another level for her in her heart pounding engagement of that game. I was like, now do you see why I bet? Now do you see why this is exactly why we do it? And then I damped around the house. I chugged my drink, and man, I was pumped up. But yes, I am on a little bit of a heater. I haven't lost many lately, and so I hope I can keep that going also like the others. Anyway, sorry.
I put out a call on Twitter for Would You Rather questions, and Surveyor Brett chimed in with one, but it's only for Chalmers. And I'm going to change his wording of it a little bit to make it more specific. Chalmers, you have to spend 1 hour only talking about contract extensions, Seattle expansion, off-season plans on the podcast, or
the other one.
You can just admit to Chumgate.
Yeah. No fucking way. I'll talk about
Well done, Chris.
we can talk about contract. We can talk about Nuge's contract. We can talk about where the Oilers are going to be 5 years from now. We can talk about the top 5 things I hate to talk about in sports media, because I will never admit that I cheated, because I didn't cheat. So that would be like, you know, when you get a plea deal and they say you can do this plea deal, but you have to admit guilt. This is the plea deal. I'm not taking it. I'm not fucking taking it. No way.
Fair enough.
That was good. Good.
This one comes
Very
from
That was a quick
very
turnaround
clever,
on that.
very clever.
Yeah, you didn't waste any time. You snapped. From @LauraLindsay16. Would you rather have to start Mikko Koskinen every single game for the rest of the regular season, or always have to healthy scratch one of Nugent Hopkins or Draisaitl? Bagged Milk, I'm going to come to you first.
It's Koskinen. It's easy. What are we talking about? You take one of the 2-3 best forwards off the lineup for any given night. Like, no, you put Mikko in.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll be your Skip.
we're defending.
I'll be your Skip Bayless to your Stephen A. Smith. But anybody else notice that Nuge, other than playing on the power play, kind of getting buried sometimes on the third line? What?
He's got 3 5-on-5 assists in the last 4 games, Chalmers.
Yep. And he had 5 5-on-5 shots on net last game.
Great. Good for him. He's still playing out there half the time with Archibald and Shore or some shit. I was just wondering. I'm just wondering if anybody else is noticing it, because I've kind of noticed it.
He gets left behind when they load up that top line a little bit. He doesn't have a lot to play with. So I think you're right on that. Jay, which one? You either starting Koskinen for the rest, or are you scratching Draisaitl or Nuge?
I would start Koskinen. We're way better defensively now, so we can keep shots to the perimeter and reduce any kind of liabilities that Koskinen can sometimes provide. So,
and I don't have his numbers up in front of me. I'm just gonna.
They've gotten better. He's put together some decent starts.
Yep.
Koskinen over his last 5 starts hasn't been poor at all. And in fact, where it gets weird is when he plays too much. He actually looks so much better now that he's not playing all the time. But to answer the question, it's easily you don't pull out one of the 2 best forwards.
Charles, did you give your answer? Which one did you give?
Yeah, I was going to go against the grain just to make an argument show here, but there's no way. I mean, when they're both playing this like at their peak, I think Koskinen and Smith are 1A. You know, so yeah. You don't take one of your top 3 best players out. You just don't.
Before you go to the next one, Bag Milk, I got a question for you. I was gonna tweet it, but I didn't. Were you rattled at Bear for that 6-foot Suey pass he gave Nuge?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what that was like?
Why did you do that?
You know, I was rattled. That was you know what that was? That was like a Bantam A special. That's from the defender right to the forward and crushed.
Bear had a great game, but just that, I'm like, what are you doing? And then it involved Nuge getting buried, and Nuge being Nuge and having like a third eye mitigated that hit because it could have been a lot worse.
Definitely could have been worse.
Front office said, Bear, if you want to
rough, man.
Bear, if you want to play more, the front office told him, hey, Suey's to Nuge. Let's get this contract done.
I was making jokes about that. That's why they're loading up the first line with Connor and Draisaitl on the same line, so Nuge brings his value down a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Now you're feeling what I'm feeling, businessman type shit.
Yeah,
Dangerous
Ken
way.
Ken Hall's playing 3D chess out there with that fucking contract.
5D.
Dangerous Wade gave us 2 questions. I'll start with the first one. You get $1 million in cash, but the Oilers never reach a conference final in your lifetime, or you just stay where you are and you roll the dice, see how the Oil do. No guarantees, but if you take the $1 million, they guarantee never make a conference final.
I'll take the $1 million and smoke bomb my way out of here so that I don't get fruit and other items thrown at me. Sorry, people. $1 million, $1 million.
You're a young guy. I don't think you've done the math onto what $1 million does for you for your rest of your life, buddy.
You don't know where he's going to move.
Yeah, well, maybe Thailand or something.
Well, $1 million bucks, you put that in some with an 8% return, 8% yield on the dividend. Away you go.
I'm not taking the money. Not a fucking chance.
Jay?
1,000,000% not taking the money.
Interesting.
Respect.
I am too invested. I am too all in on this team to win, to just walk away and not achieve the greatness I think we deserve.
When I sit down with my kids and I'm 80
You
years
show
old,
me a briefcase with $1 million cash. You
When
show
I
me
sit
the
down with my-
briefcase with $1 million cash in it.
when I sit down with my kids and I'm 80 years old and I say, just so you know, you never got to see your favorite hockey team do well because I took $1 million payout when I was 40 and here's what's left of it. And I write them a check for $10 each and they both bounce. They're not going to be very fucking happy with me now, are they?
Both bounce.
Oh yeah. Last check I write's going to bounce. Don't you worry about that.
This next one, for me, it's really hard because you take the Oilers out of it, but I got my Buffalo Bills, I got my Blue Jays. I'd still have teams that sports wouldn't be completely ruined, but it'd be a tough one for me to do that to the city. That's, I'm the hero of this podcast, right? So I just don't know if I could do it to the city.
Notice how it's the young bucks, JR, that want to take the money. Short-sighted.
I just said I wouldn't. I said for the city, for the people, I wouldn't do it. Dangerous
The
way
fact
to
that
ask
you
a
even thought
second.
about it makes me mad.
I'd be on a beach getting a nice tan, a bronze with a cocktail, and I'd be like, I wonder what those Oilers fans are thinking right now. Oh, well. Long Island iced tea season is here.
The second one from Dangerous Wade is a really weird one, and I debated reading it, but I will. Would you rather have all your possessions stolen, never to be returned, or have your kidney taken after a night of drinking? For me, if you can guarantee no long-term health effects of the kidney thing, if I was drunk enough.
You have two kidneys for a reason.
Yeah.
God bless me with a spare.
I don't have 2 Connor McDavid rookie cards to just be willy-nilly thrown around having stolen. I got 2 kidneys, so.
Oh my God.
Okay,
that is so fucked up, but I would say take my possessions.
Question. Do we have insurance on our possessions?
Good question.
I guess.
I think for the sake of this, you don't, because you're not getting them back.
I am somebody who's been unlucky enough to be the victim of house break-ins and car break-ins, multiple. And I still think that I would get all my possessions taken before I got my kidney taken. It's a bad feeling, but what are you going to do? In fact, everybody always says, what's the saying? As long as you got your health. As long as you got your health.
But is the kidney just gone and you're just a little sore for a bit with a scar? Or is there a chance you get an infection and die? There's a lot of different ways to look at this.
There's also living life with half of your kidneys.
Yeah.
They provide a vital function.
Yeah.
I guarantee you would go and play sports and you wouldn't be able to skate as hard as you want. You wouldn't be able to run as hard as you want. It would affect your whole lifestyle, man. Possessions you can go and get again.
I have a friend with 1 kidney. He couldn't play contact sports as a result of only having 1 kidney.
Yeah, okay. I'll
So
take my stuff. I want my kidney.
Hockey or football.
No, that's a non-starter then. That's a non-starter. Yeah. I need the competition in my life till the day I die. So.
Yep, me too. All right.
To answer the question, I don't give a shit about any of my possessions. I'll take my 2 kidneys, please.
You'll take the 2 kidneys and the $1 million, buy back your possessions and leave.
Yeah.
There you go.
See you guys later.
All right. I got 2 more would you rather questions. If any one of you guys has one, feel free. But I got 2 more. They're both similar. But number 1, you have 2 choices. Would you rather attend every regular season game for the rest of this year for the Edmonton Oilers with a full barn, 18,000 in there? It is rocking. And all that, COVID's not even an issue. You're just there, 18,000 people watching every regular season Oilers game, or you get to attend every playoff game this year, but it's in an empty barn. Which one are you picking?
I go full house.
Playoffs.
That is by far the hardest one you've asked so far.
I will bring the madness. I will go playoffs.
I'm going to go full house because There's just something about a full barn with a game that's really going well and everybody's experiencing the same thing. I'd rather go to the full barn.
Charles?
Oh man, I honestly, this is by far the hardest one because my game day experiences are at a full barn with no COVID is a lot of love being with the one I'm with, love hanging out with them, love drinking in the bar, love running into all the people that I see. It's a whole experience. Plus you got great seats for the hockey game. You take that away from me and I'm by myself and am I still allowed to have cocktails by myself?
Yeah, you can drink.
I guarantee after game 2 and you've celebrated 5 goals by yourself, you'd be so sick. You'd be like, I just want to be with my friends. I would probably straight up pick staying home and going to a watch party at somebody's house with all my friends for a playoff game than going to the barn and watching it in person by myself. So I'm going to.
If that was my option, I would agree too.
Yeah, I'd take full barn.
Okay.
Full barn, rest of the games.
But because, like your Remchuk, I am also a hero. This means I have willed our team to the playoffs.
Debated.
And and I am going solo on behalf of the entire fandom.
Fair.
I wonder which section you'd sit in, Jay, or would you move around?
Where would be?
Move around.
Yeah, you could move around. I guess every period you could move around for the whole run, right? Like you'd be like, hey, you know what? Yeah. Oilers got a power play to start the period. I'm going to go sit right behind the other team's net and bang on the glass a little bit. Like fucking why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, razz them when they're in the penalty box. Like you also have a very important job to do.
Do you get shown on TV?
Oh yeah. Well, and like it can be a big deal that you're the only fan there.
Exactly, man. This is a branding opportunity.
They find you mid-third. You're in one of the boxes with just popcorn all over you.
Did you see the tweet from Frank Saravalli about having fans back in New York and what they're looking to do?
Yeah. So if you missed it, I got it right here because I posted it today on the DFO Instagram account. But basically, the Rangers' plan to allow fans back in is if you can have full proof of vaccination, which is 14 days after the second dose of Pfizer, Moderna, or one shot of the Johnson & Johnson, you'll be acceptable for entry at games at MSG starting April 1st. Negative PCR or antigen proof still work too. But Frank said that seems to be the first sign of where we're heading is if you can provide proof of vaccination, you can be allowed into games. I wonder if we'll see that in Canada soon.
I think that's just going to be a standard thing for a lot of people. Like
I think
you're going to want to go to you want to go see a concert. They're probably going to make you flash some kind of something.
Like an ID. Yeah, I could see that.
Probably.
All right. The last one I have, it's on the same theme, but this one is really just sort of geared towards Jay, I think. Jay, do you hate Cotton Eye Joe or do you love Cotton Eye Joe?
He loves it.
I love it because it's, exactly.
Okay. Well, then
I love it because we hate it so much.
That's fair.
I love it because everyone hated it so much. And now we have to make it part of Oilers culture.
You get to attend every Oilers game for the rest of the year. And you know what? Let's even say full barn. But at all times in your house, in your car, there is not a speaker around you, you have headphones in. It is always blaring Cotton Eye Joe until they are eliminated. You can go to every game full barn. Nope. Things are back to normal, but you need to be listening to Cotton Eye Joe full blast 24/7, even if you're trying to sleep.
No,
Tyler, hand me your cape. Hand me your cape, buddy. I'll do it for the people.
That is literally a form of torture that like they use in like weird fucking dictatorships and shit. No.
You could say that I'll never watch another Oilers game in my life as long as I don't have to listen to Cotton Eye Joe. It's the only song in the rest of my life. And I will take the no more watching Oilers ever again. I don't think there's no way I'd kill myself. If I had to listen to that song everywhere I went, I never got to hear another new song. Fuck that.
It just reminds me of the Bear used to do that really tough contest. You remember that once upon a time? And they locked that one person in a dark room and played Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day. And they snapped almost immediately. There's a reason for it. No.
Fair enough.
I love Cotton Eye Joe. But not in this.
All the time. Just nonstop.
Well, just rip out the speakers from your car. you try to limit the exposure.
No, I'm saying like if there's no speakers, you need to have headphones in listening to the song. Like you cannot go a moment of your life without Cotton Eye Joe playing.
No, it's the worst. That's horrible. We have got some sick listeners out there.
That one
I love
too
it.
far. I'm sorry.
I like it too.
All right. There you go. That is all of our Would You Rather questions. That was fun. I was
Dangerous
hoping
Wade
Wanye would
in.
be. Yeah.
Dangerous Way coming in next week was just like, so if you could like chop off both your legs and your arms, but you get a free taco every Tuesday, would you do it?
All right. Before we get things back on track here, let's give some love to our friends at manscaped.com. Head to manscaped.com, browse their products, look at the price, and then imagine if you could save 20% and get free shipping on that price. You can with the promo code Real Life. They got everything. The performance package, the lawnmower 3.0. All the info you need is up at manscaped.com. That promo code again is Real Life. Gets you 20% off and free shipping. If you haven't tried the Crop Preserver or the Crop Reviver, they are very, very good. Highly recommend those products. Your balls will thank you.
And they do.
Yep, manscaped.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Unless anyone has anything to get off their chest, we could do another listener.
I gotta get off my chest.
Go, Charles. Go.
I would like that.
Tell the listener profile guy that I'm sorry I'm going to be missing this, but I made an appointment for 2:15 because I thought we were doing this at 1. I gotta go.
Okay. See you,
That
Charles.
was a full podcast full of hockey, eh, boys? We
That
did it.
was.
If
That was
you guys
fun.
talk anything but hockey right now, I'm going to be so fucking rattled.
Okay.
All right, let's talk
Have fun
about
at your
disc
meeting.
golf. As
Yeah,
Chalmers
disc golf
leaves.
then.
I'll try to stick around for as long as I can. See you, Charles.
See you, Charles.
Big Montreal win tonight. Final
Yep.
score 3-2 Oilers. Bye.
All right. Let's do a quick listener Let's do a quick. Yeah, that was a
contradiction.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick listener profile and then we'll put a wrap on this episode. If you guys remember, like this was a couple months ago. Yeah, it was back in December when we had someone reach out and say that they listened to our podcast from Greece, from Rhodes, Greece, to be specific. I then sent him the listener questionnaire and he replied immediately, but he was down in the list in terms of the queue of how many listener profiles we got to go through. So he's finally up. His name is Nick T. I'm not going to say his last name because it's Greek and I would just butcher it and do it no good. But he seems like a cool guy. He's a coastal engineer. He put in brackets that he designs beaches.
Whoa.
That is cool.
That's really cool.
That's very cool. He's playing real life Animal Planet
Yeah. He's also a professor.
or Animal Crossing, I should say.
Yeah. Him and his friends, this is a fun fact about him. Him and his friends organized the first street hockey league on the island, which is just fucking awesome as well. Really cool. He says it never snows here, so that's all we could have done. The locals did not know what we were doing. So I love that there's a little pocket of hockey/Oilers fans in Greece. That's awesome stuff.
That is very cool.
Nick started listening to the podcast in the winter of 2017. Since then, he's listened to all of the podcasts. His favorite moment, he says, by far, Chumgate. Almost laughed so hard I laughed so hard I almost drove off the road on that one. His favorite Oilers memory. He came to Edmonton for his first Oilers game back in May of 2006. He came here to learn English for university, and his guardians took him to the game. Said the most electrifying atmosphere I've ever experienced in any stadium. I can imagine that 06 run.
Wow.
Wild. He hasn't tried Oodle Noodle yet. Obviously, he lives in Greece. But his friends say the Tokyo Glaze is pretty awesome. It's on his bucket list for when he visits again. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say when he does visit, we will treat him well when he comes.
100%. You tell us when you come here and we will treat you right. Rick at the Pint will make sure you get treated like royalty.
The most exotic place he's listened to the podcast is on a breakwater construction site in Iceland, which seems like that seems like a spot where a lot of smart people are. And this podcast, that's a little, not exactly in that.
Speaking to my heart there in Iceland. I love it.
Yeah. I asked him to help with the pronunciation of his name. I forgot I did this. And he just said, not sure how I can help. You can just call me Tavo. So Nick Tavo is our listener profile for today. For today. Shout out to Tavo. Shout out to our listeners in Greece because apparently they exist. And that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Good stuff.
His Gyro game is probably very strong.
Yes.
Is it Hero? How is it pronounced?
Or is it,
I don't know.
I think it's
I
Hero,
just took
isn't
a
it?
swing there, to be honest.
I think it's Hero too.
But in
I
that
took a
episode of
swing there, to be honest.
Seinfeld, don't they call it a gyro?
They do call it a gyro.
Yeah. I think I watched that episode not that long ago. Anyways, there's our listener profile brought to you by Oodle Noodle. This whole podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Also, Twig and Berries, Manscaped, 15% off at Twig and Berries with the promo code NATION15 at Manscaped. That promo code is real life. So check them both out and support them. Twig and Berries, good local company. Manscaped, they just make good products, man. I busted mine out the other day, and now I've already given you too much information. The red hot Edmonton Oilers, they are going for win number 4 tonight against the Habs. 5 o'clock starts. Are we fans of 5 o'clock starts, or is that too early? Would we prefer later?
I love a 5 o'clock start. I love it. It's like you almost get a bonus evening. If the Oilers win tonight, they start off this 3-game set against Montreal with a win. You have a bonus evening to celebrate the victory because the game's going to be wrapped up by like 8 o'clock. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it for that element. It is such a frantic rush home to get there for puck drop. That's the only, but I guess which adds to the element of excitement because it's now a challenge presented to you. There's no, you got to organize your day efficiently. You got to have a very firm stop time. And you better know your quickest route home. And you better know what the construction is. There's a lot of planning into this. My day is I am running. Today is tight for me. I'm actually doing something cool today. I wanted to kind of bring this up. I have the honor of doing something very special. Someone reached out to us on Twitter asking if we could do a favor for his son, whose 11th birthday is today. So we've got a special nation citizen named Morgan who's turning 11. And his wish is to have the nation truck be at school to pick him up.
That is cool.
So I am right now in Fort Saskatchewan. I've sanitized the truck. I'm picking up his dad. And we're going to Morgan's school to surprise him in the nation truck.
That's really
super cool. Good for you, dude.
Yeah, it's good for us. This is a nation thing. It's not a J thing. But I'm just, of course, you have to say yes, right? If someone reaches out and wants to go, goes that far out to try to make this happen, you have to oblige. So this is like a thank you to a lot of things. Thank you to the nation. Thank you to Sherwood Ford for giving us the nation truck, which is super cool. But thank you to Morgan for thinking it's cool enough to want it to show up at school, which is super special.
That kid is going to be the talk of the school.
Yes, he is going to have a swag when he comes out and sees the nation truck that it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool for that young man today.
Well, we got some nation gear for him. I got a Neon Leon t-shirt. And I've got, what else do I got here? Oh, I've got a MVP 29 shirt. Apparently that's all we had in small. So we're doubling down.
Big Leon guy.
Big Leon guy. And he's also getting a box of mini egg cookies from Little Brick.
Oh,
that is awesome.
Legit.
I think I'd like those more than the shirt. All right, Jay.
Jay, how many? Hang on a second, Jay. How many of those cookies have you crushed since they launched? I saw them on Instagram the other day.
Yeah, man. Mini egg season is a grind. It is a real thing, and yeah, we had Little Brick. We had a mini egg scone, so you just have to try that on principle. And now they're pounding out mini egg cookies, which is crazy. Plus, my girlfriend's mom has got an industrial drum of mini eggs she got at Costco. And so every bowl and every table in the house is full of mini eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't stop.
That was one of the times when I was happy I'm not at the office right now, is when I was watching and I saw Little Brick post the mini egg cookies. That was the one time I'm like, oh man, I'm happy I'm home because I got nothing like that in my house.
Yeah, it's deadly.
Well, Jay, we will not hold you up any longer. If you're listening to this in the minutes it was released and want more game day content, Bagged Milk will be going live on Instagram at 4 o'clock for Risky Business, and I am joining him. I am planning my Costco trip around joining Bagged Milk on Risky Business every game day, hour before puck drop, 15 minutes hard of nothing but betting talk. Also, my pregame podcast is out. And also, Jay, are you going live today with Josh, Jay?
Oh, yeah. So once again, in the 5 o'clock game, battle challenge that it provides is I'm out at Fort Sask. So now I got to go meet Josh right after. I got a bull to meet Josh. So we're actually probably going to be starting the pregame show at 4. Sorry, Bag Milk. So we're going to be competing. So,
no.
I apologize, but you're talking to the Instagram audience and I'm talking to the Facebook audience. So I think we're dividing and conquering.
There's a lot of nation content today.
Oh yeah. Is there any betting advice you'd want me to put into the show that you'll be sharing on the on Risky Business?
Yeah,
McDavid over 3.5 shots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Day. So I'll give you and you know who else? I said this to Tyler on the Bcast the other day. Nuge over 2.5 shots is almost a lock this year. He's averaging almost 3 shots a game. And bet of the game today, you got plus money on over 1.5 for Connor McDavid. So there's my bet of the game for tonight's Risky Business.
Love it.
All right. You enjoy your trip out to Fort Sask, Jay. Good work. Bag Milk, I'll see you in a couple hours here. And thanks to everyone for tuning in. This has been episode 266 of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Hey, hit us up in our DMs. If you have your answers to those would you rather questions, love to see them. That's going to do it for another episode. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk again on Thursday.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.